Chosen one, welcome back. The light has led you here once again today. This is not coincidence. This is not habit. This is alignment. Right now, quiet your thoughts and listen carefully. What I am about to release carries urgency, and it is not meant for everyone. If you do not walk the divine path of God, if your heart is not aligned with truth, you will feel discomfort rising within you, and you will leave. But if you are truly chosen, if your spirit is sincere and your devotion is real, you will remain, because this message was guided to you at the exact right moment. This did not reach you by accident. Heaven arranged this encounter, and what I am about to share will change how you understand yourself and how you interpret what you have been experiencing. It will bring clarity to confusion, peace to tension, and strength to places within you that have quietly grown tired. Stay present with me, because something is about to settle deeply in your spirit. Many of you have already felt it. You walk into a room and people look at you longer than normal. Their eyes linger, yet their mouths remain closed. They stare, but they say nothing. And afterward, you are left wondering why. There is no clear reason, no obvious trigger. Just silence. By the end of this message, you will understand the spiritual reason behind that silence, and you will stop questioning yourself. Stay with me until the end, because there is something you must hear that will calm your heart in a way words rarely do. And if this resonates with your spirit, let me know by commenting 444 below. That simple declaration signals that you are divinely protected and fully aligned with what God is doing in your life. Chosen one, I want you to settle your mind for a moment and listen calmly. What you are experiencing is not random, and it is not imagination. There is something placed upon you that cannot be seen with human eyes, yet it is deeply felt. God places an invisible mark on those He chooses, not a mark of pride, not a mark of superiority, but a mark of assignment. This mark is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention, yet it carries weight. And wherever weight enters a room, the atmosphere shifts. That is why you can walk into a place quietly and still feel eyes turn toward you. You did not speak. You did not act unusually. You did not draw attention to yourself. But something changed when you arrived. People do not always stare because they admire you. Sometimes they stare because something inside them was disturbed. Your presence interrupts patterns they are accustomed to. You carry order into chaos without trying. You carry calm into noise without effort. That is not something you learned. That is something God formed into you over time, often through pressure, often through solitude, often through silence. Your presence speaks before your mouth ever opens. Long before you say a word, something in you has already communicated. It communicates integrity. It communicates restraint. It communicates depth. Many people are not used to being around someone who does not leak insecurity into the room. Most people enter spaces carrying the need to be validated, noticed, or approved. They talk quickly. They over-explain. They fill silence because silence exposes them. But you are different. You are comfortable being still, even when you do not consciously realize it. You are anchored, and that anchor creates tension in those who live emotionally ungrounded lives. That is why the staring often comes with silence. They are trying to read you. They are trying to place you into a category that makes sense to them, but you do not fit their usual boxes. You are not loud enough to dismiss. You are not weak enough to overlook. You are not familiar enough to control. So they observe. Chosen one, this is important for your healing. The silence you receive is not rejection. It is not disrespect. It is recognition mixed with uncertainty. Your spirit carries a kind of authority that does not ask permission, and authority makes people pause. It makes them measure their words. It makes them cautious, even when they do not consciously know why. There are people who sense that you see more than you say, that you understand more than you reveal. That awareness alone can be unsettling. When someone realizes they cannot easily read you,
They instinctively slow down, they watch, they become quiet, not because you threatened them, but because something in them feels exposed in your presence. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You are not meant to dilute what God placed upon you. You are not meant to perform smallness so others can relax. The discomfort you trigger is not cruelty. It is contrast. Light does not apologize for revealing what darkness tried to hide. Some stare because they feel safe near you. They may not understand it. They may not be able to explain it, but something in your calm steadies what has been restless inside them. Your presence lowers their defenses without effort. Others stare because they feel judged by their own conscience, not by you. You did not accuse them, you did not confront them, yet something within them becomes aware. And some stare simply because they recognize strength that does not need to prove itself, strength that does not announce, strength that does not compete. You must learn to sit peacefully in this reality, chosen one. You do not owe anyone an explanation for why you carry yourself the way you do. God shaped you deliberately. He allowed pressure to refine you. He allowed silence to mature you. He allowed misunderstanding to strengthen you. And now, when you enter spaces, the residue of that process goes with you. You are not intimidating because you are aggressive. You are unsettling because you are grounded. You are not watched because you are strange. You are watched because you are rare. Stability in a fractured world feels foreign to many. Chaos has become familiar. Noise has become normal. So when someone carries stillness, it stands out. The invisible mark you carry also serves as protection. It creates distance without hostility. It limits access without confrontation. It keeps certain people at a respectful distance without you having to enforce boundaries verbally. God did not design you to be easily accessed by everyone. Some doors close simply because your presence reminds people they cannot manipulate you. You do not need to fix this. You do not need to soften it. You do not need to become more approachable by lowering your standards or dimming your awareness. What God placed on you is intentional. It will attract who is meant to come close and repel who is not. So the next time you notice the staring, breathe calmly. Do not tense your body. Do not rush to fill the silence. Do not question yourself. Let them observe. Let them feel whatever rises within them. Your assignment is not to manage their reactions. Your assignment is to remain aligned. Chosen one, listen closely. When spirit recognizes spirit, fear often stays quiet. There is a level at which spirit identifies spirit before the mind has time to analyze it. This recognition does not require words. It does not need introductions. It happens instantly and deeply when you encounter certain people. Something within them senses that you are not ordinary, even if they cannot articulate what makes you different. And that moment of sensing creates a pause. Many people live reactively, not discerningly. So when they suddenly feel something they cannot control or explain, they freeze. That freeze often appears as silence. They stare because they are processing something their spirit detected that their mind has not yet categorized. I want you to understand this clearly. When spirit recognizes spirit, it bypasses intellect. It does not wait for permission. It simply knows. And knowing without understanding creates hesitation in those who are not spiritually mature. They feel reverence, but do not know why. They sense authority, but cannot name it. They recognize weight, but have no reference point for it. This is why some people become nervous around you without provocation. It is not about your words. It is not about your actions. It is about the frequency you carry. Your spirit operates at a different level, and that level disrupts their usual patterns of engagement. Fear also plays a role here. Not fear of harm, but fear of exposure. People who live behind masks sense that you see through pretense. People who rely on manipulation sense that you cannot be controlled. People who avoid truth sense that you carry it naturally, and all of that creates internal discomfort that manifests as silence. You have likely noticed this pattern already. Some people are drawn to you immediately. Others pull back without explanation. The ones who pull back are not necessarily your enemies. They are simply not aligned. Their spirit recognizes what your presence demands: honesty, integrity, depth, and they are not ready for that level of engagement. Let me speak gently to your heart here, chosen one. You are not responsible for comforting people through their discomfort with truth. You are not obligated to make yourself smaller so others feel bigger. God gave you a spiritual frequency for a purpose, and that purpose includes disrupting comfort zones that have become cages. When spirit recognizes spirit, intention is also revealed. Some people stay quiet because they know their motives would not survive your discernment. Some stay quiet because they are calculating how to approach you. Some stay quiet because they are waiting to see if you are as grounded as you appear. Silence becomes a test, and you pass it by remaining unbothered. You must release the need to interpret every stare. You must release the need to justify every silence. Not everything requires your analysis. Some things are simply evidence that God placed something upon you that others feel but cannot fully comprehend, and that is enough. This recognition also works in reverse. There are people whose spirit you recognize instantly. You feel safe with them without explanation, or you feel cautious without knowing why. That is your spirit communicating. Trust it. Do not override it with logic. Do not dismiss it because you want to be kind. Discernment is not unkind, it is protective. Understanding this spiritual recognition changes everything. It means you are not imagining the tension you feel in certain rooms. You are not paranoid when you sense someone is not being genuine. You are not overthinking when you pull back from someone who seems friendly on the surface. Your spirit is reading frequencies that your mind has not yet processed into language. Many chosen ones have been gaslit into doubting this ability. People told you that you were being judgmental when you were actually being discerning. They told you that you were being cold when you were actually being protective. They convinced you that setting boundaries made you unkind, when boundaries are actually one of the kindest things you can do. But hear this clearly. Your ability to sense what others cannot is not a flaw. It is a feature. It is part of your spiritual wiring. And the more you honor it instead of explaining it away, the stronger it becomes.
God gave you a spiritual frequency for a reason, chosen one, and that reason includes disrupting comfort zones that have quietly turned into cages. When spirit recognizes spirit, it does more than acknowledge presence. It reveals intention. Some people remain silent around you because they know their motives would not survive your discernment. Some stay quiet because they are calculating how to approach you. Others are watching to see if you are as grounded as you appear. Silence becomes a test, and you pass that test by remaining unbothered. Chosen one, release the need to interpret every stare. Release the need to justify every silence. Not everything requires your analysis. Some things are simply evidence that God placed something upon you that others can feel but cannot fully comprehend. And that is enough. You do not need confirmation. You do not need validation. The evidence is already present in the way environments respond to you. This recognition also works in reverse. There are people whose spirit you recognize immediately. You feel safe around them without explanation, or you feel cautious without knowing why. That is not imagination. That is communication. That is your spirit speaking a language your mind has not yet translated. Trust it.
Do not override it with logic. Do not dismiss it because you want to be kind. Discernment is not unkind. Discernment is protective. Understanding this changes everything. It means you are not imagining the tension you feel in certain rooms. You are not being paranoid when you sense that someone is not genuine. You are not overthinking when you instinctively pull back from someone who appears friendly on the surface. Your spirit is reading frequencies that your mind has not yet formed into words. Many chosen ones have been conditioned to doubt this ability. You were told you were being judgmental when you were actually being discerning. You were told you were cold when you were actually being protective. You were convinced that setting boundaries made you unkind, when boundaries are actually one of the kindest things you can do for yourself and others. Hear this clearly. Your ability to sense what others cannot is not a flaw. It is a feature. It is part of your spiritual wiring. And the more you honor it instead of explaining it away, the stronger it becomes. When spirit recognizes spirit, it bypasses noise and goes straight to truth. And truth is what sets you free. Chosen one, silence has also been teaching you something important. Silence teaches self-reliance. When people do not affirm you, you stop seeking external validation. When people do not explain themselves, you stop trying to manage their perceptions. When people do not engage, you learn to be full without their input. Silence removes the crutch of approval and forces you to stand on your own spiritual strength. Many of you were conditioned to believe that silence means something is wrong. You were told that if people are not speaking, you must have offended them. You were trained to fill quiet spaces with apologies, explanations, or performances. But God is using this season to break that conditioning.
Silence also sharpens discernment. When you are not distracted by constant conversation, you begin to notice patterns. You see who approaches with genuine intent. You see who only comes around when they need something. You see who respects boundaries and who tests them. Silence gives you space to observe without interference. Hear this clearly, chosen one. Silence is not punishment. It is preparation. God is training you to carry influence without being influenced. He is training you to walk in authority without needing constant reinforcement. He is training you to be content in solitude, so you are never desperate in community. There is a maturity that only silence can produce. When you stop needing people to speak, you start hearing God more clearly. When you stop filling every gap with noise, you start noticing what the noise was covering. Silence has also revealed something powerful. It has shown you who is truly for you, the people who remained present even when you were quiet, the people who did not demand explanations, the people who honored your process without needing to understand it. Those are your people. Silence filtered out the rest. Let this settle deeply. The silence surrounding you right now is creating space for the right voices to enter later. God is clearing the room. He is removing distractions. He is protecting you from premature connections that would slow down what He is building in you. Chosen one, there is something else you must understand about yourself. The power you carry is not something you created. It is something that was placed in you. And it has been growing quietly without your full awareness. This is why people react to you before you speak. This is why your presence alone shifts atmospheres. Power does not always announce itself. In fact, true power rarely does. It does not need volume. It does not need validation. It simply exists.
and existence alone is enough to be felt. You have been carrying this quietly. Many of you did not even realize it until people started reacting. The stares you receive are not always about curiosity. Sometimes they are about assessment. People are subconsciously measuring whether you are a threat or an ally, whether you will challenge their comfort or reinforce it, whether you can be controlled or whether you operate independently. And all of this happens before a single word is exchanged. Sit with this truth. You make people think twice. You make people reconsider their approach. You make people aware of themselves in ways they are not used to. That is not arrogance. That is the effect of carrying something real in a world full of pretense. Your power also lies in your restraint. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to defend yourself constantly. You do not need to explain your choices to people who would not understand them anyway. That restraint separates you from those who perform power but do not possess it. Chosen one, many of you have been afraid of your own strength. You were taught that being powerful makes you intimidating. You were told that being confident makes you arrogant. You were conditioned to shrink so others could expand. But God is dismantling that lie. Your power is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be stewarded. And here is where many chosen ones struggle. You do not want to make others uncomfortable, so you dampen what God amplified. You do not want to stand out, so you blend in. You do not want to seem proud, so you undervalue what you carry. But none of that serves the kingdom. It only serves fear. Let me be clear. Your power is not for dominance. It is for deliverance. It is not for control. It is for covering. It is not for display. It is for service. But you cannot serve powerfully if you are constantly apologizing for your strength. People will always have opinions about your power. Some will celebrate it. Some will fear it. Some will try to diminish it. Your assignment is not to manage their reactions. Your assignment is to remain obedient to what God called you to carry. Chosen one, now we arrive at the moment where everything begins to make sense. The isolation, the silence, the misunderstandings, the internal pressure you could never fully explain. None of it was random. None of it was wasted. God was shaping you in private so you could stand steady in public. There are levels of assignment that cannot be given in crowds. Some instructions are only released in solitude. Some authority is only entrusted to those who can survive being alone without becoming bitter, needy, or distracted. And you survived. You did not break when people left. You did not collapse when support disappeared. You did not lose yourself when applause went silent. That alone tells heaven something about you. Chosen one, God does not promote based on talent alone. He promotes based on stewardship of pressure. Anyone can shine when they are celebrated. Very few can remain aligned when they are ignored. You proved that your obedience is not conditional on recognition. That is why this season is shifting. What you are stepping into next requires a grounded spirit. Influence without grounding destroys people. Visibility without identity confuses them. God waited until you stopped asking, "Why am I alone?" and started declaring, "I am ready." And readiness is quiet. Hear this carefully. Your next season will not require you to announce yourself. You will be recognized.
God is about to position you in rooms you prayed for years ago, but you will enter them differently than you imagined. Not rushed, not eager to impress, not searching for approval. You will enter carrying peace, discernment, and authority. People will feel it before you speak. This is why your character was refined so deeply. God knew access was coming, and access without integrity is dangerous. So He built integrity into your bones. He removed your dependence on validation. He taught you how to hear His voice above the noise of opinions. Chosen one, you are not behind. You are aligned. Delay was not denial. Silence was not abandonment. Isolation was not rejection. It was training. Now let me speak to the fear you have not admitted out loud.
The fear that says, "What if I am wrong? What if I step forward and fail?" That fear is natural, but it is not prophetic. It does not come from God. God does not call you without covering you. He does not send you without equipping you. He does not elevate you without sustaining you. You are not walking into this next season unprotected. You are walking in with discernment sharpened, boundaries strengthened, and identity anchored. And yes, some people will misunderstand you even more as you rise. Growth exposes insecurity in others. Your clarity will irritate confusion. Your peace will confront chaos. Your discipline will unsettle those who thrive in disorder. Do not shrink because of that. You are not responsible for how others interpret your obedience. Chosen one, there is also a blessing attached to this transition. God is not only elevating you spiritually, He is restoring things that were delayed: opportunities, connections, resources, clarity, momentum. But restoration will not look like a sudden explosion. It will look like alignment after alignment, door after door opening without force, conversations happening naturally, favor replacing friction. You will notice how things flow instead of resist. That is how you will know you are in the right season. And let me say this with love and firmness: do not return to people God already removed. Do not reopen doors He closed to protect you. Do not romanticize old versions of yourself that survived but did not thrive. You are not who you were when those doors were open. Some connections were only meant to walk with you to a certain point. They are not evil, they are simply expired. Honor the season they served without trying to revive it.
Chosen one, your obedience will now require courage, not the loud kind, the quiet, steady courage of consistency, the courage to keep showing up, the courage to say no without guilt, the courage to say yes without fear. This is the season where discipline becomes destiny. Stay focused, stay humble, stay discerning. You do not need to explain your journey. The fruit will speak for you. And when doubts try to whisper again, remember this: you did not come this far by accident. You did not endure what you endured to turn back now. You were carried when you were weak. You were guided when you were confused. You were protected when you did not even know you were in danger. God has been faithful. Chosen one, lift your head. Your posture matters in this season. Walk knowing who you are. Walk knowing who sent you. Walk knowing you are not alone even when it feels quiet. This is not the end. This is the beginning of alignment. And before I close this message, I want you to do something simple but powerful. If this message resonated with your spirit, if you felt clarity instead of confusion, peace instead of fear, then engage in faith. Type 777 in the comments if you are ready to walk fully into your next season without hesitation. Type 999 if you are releasing the old season completely and stepping forward with obedience. And if you want to continue receiving messages like this, messages that strengthen, align, and prepare you, make sure you subscribe and stay connected. God is not finished with you. This is only the beginning.